Good morning, student. So today I am going to explain cell membrane. Cell wall already I have explained. Cell wall, so that is also a boundary which is surrounding the cell, and inside the cell wall the cell membrane is present. Cell membrane, all of you know that the structure of cell membrane, so that was discovered after the discovery of electron microscope. Because the electron microscope, it can explain about the fine structure of any particular organelles. Because the cell itself is very small, and the cell organelle which are there in the cytoplasm, they are also smaller in comparison to the cell. So with the help of the electron microscope, we can study all the parts in detail. And cell membrane is also called as plasma membrane or biomembrane, and it is either called semi-permeable or selectively permeable membrane. So what are properties of cell membrane? Cell membrane is composed of lipid arranged in a bilayer. In cell membrane there are two layers of the lipids, so that is called bilayer, and the lipid is having the polar head towards outer side and the non-polar tail towards the inner side. So each lipid molecule, it consists of a head, and there are two tails are there. So the head is towards the outer side of the membrane and the tail towards the inner side. The lipid, so that is mainly the phospholipid. So what kind of the lipid is there in cell membrane? So that is phospholipid. And later on it was revealed that it also possesses protein and the carbohydrate. Initially it was discovered that the cell membrane, it is consisting of two lipid bilayer, and later on it was discovered that besides lipid there is also protein and the carbohydrate in the cell membrane. So regarding the structure of cell membrane, different scientists, they proposed different theory depending on their discovery and the observation. So we will discuss only about two theory. One is the Danieli and Dawson theory, and the other is the fluid mosaic theory. So Danieli Dawson, he proposed sandwich model, and as per his observation, what are the properties of cell membrane? Cell membrane, so that is a bilayer lipid membrane, and lipid is having the hydrophobic head towards the outer side, hydrophilic head towards the outer side, and hydrophobic tail towards the inside. So this is the head which is towards the outer side, and this is the tail. The head, so that is hydrophilic, and there are two tails are there, so that is hydrophobic. The head, so that is composed of glycerol, and these two tails, they are made up of fatty acid, and one phosphate, so that is connected here. So the kind of the lipid, so that is phospholipid. The second model, fluid mosaic model, it was proposed by Singer and Nicholson. And why it is called mosaic model? Because in the lipid bilayer, protein molecules are embedded, just like the mosaic floor. You can find out in the cemented floor there are small grains or the chips are there. Similarly here also there is lipid bilayer, and inside the lipid you can find out the protein molecules, they are embedded. So this is called as the fluid mosaic model. And also the cell membrane, it is having fluidity. Many scientists, many biologists, they explain that the cell membrane, so that is a static structure. Whereas according to this model, the cell membrane, so that is a fluid, that is maintaining the fluidity, and the fluidity, so that is responsible for the transport of many molecules which are present either outside the cell membrane or inside in the cytoplasm. So what are the properties of this model? There is a continuous bilayer of lipid in which protein is embedded. So there are two layers of the lipid, and the protein molecules, they are present in the lipid bilayer. Protein is a globular protein. Protein molecules, so that is a spherical protein, and it is compared as iceberg floating in the sea of liquid. So the lipid, so that is compared as a sea, and in the sea you can find out the protein molecules, they are floating as iceberg. The globular protein is of two types, extrinsic and intrinsic. Extrinsic protein, so that is present in the peripheral part of the lipid bilayer, whereas the intrinsic protein, so that is present inside the lipid membrane. And the extrinsic protein, so as it is present in the periphery, so it is also loosely connected to the head of the lipid. Whereas the intrinsic protein, either we can see either it is fully embedded in the lipid bilayer or it is partially embedded in the lipid bilayer, and it is closely or strongly connected to the lipid. So there is rapid movement of the lipid and the protein molecules. Why it is called at the cell membrane? So that is fluid, that is having the fluidity, because the protein and the lipid molecules, they can move from one place to another place, and this movement it is helping in transport of molecules. So now we will discuss about function of cell membrane. All of you know that cell membrane, so I told you either it is semi-permeable membrane or we can say that it is selectively permeable membrane. So cell membrane is also having small opening or pores, and all the molecules which are smaller than the size of the pore, like the water molecules and the other minerals which are small in size, they can enter into the cytoplasm or into the cell with the help of the small opening present in the cell membrane. So it is semi-permeable membrane. It cannot allow all the molecules, it can allow only small molecules to enter inside. And also it is why it is called a selectively permeable, because it is selecting which molecules are needed to enter inside the cell and which are not needed or which are not required. So because it is selecting the molecules for their entrance or for the exit, we can call it as selectively permeable membrane. Even the bigger molecules, they can also enter inside the cell if there is a requirement. But because the size is bigger than the pore, then how they are entering into the cytoplasm? Because here the protein molecules, these are acting as the carrier molecules. And the protein molecules are also having the constant opening of the pores are there. And through the pores, these molecules either they can enter or they are binding with the protein molecules which are acting as the carrier molecule and which can rotate. Because as I told you, the lipid and the protein molecules, they are having fluidity. So they can rotate. First they are binding with the molecules, then they are rotating and bringing the molecules to the inner side of the membrane. Then the molecule can separate from the protein carrier and enter into the cytoplasm. So besides all these functions, the cell membrane, so that is also acting as a barrier for cytoplasm, because it is enclosing the cytoplasm from outside. So now we will discuss about another cell organelle, that is plastid. As I have told you, plastids are only found in plant cell, they are absent in animal cell. And depending on the type of pigment, plastids are classified into chloroplast, chromoplast and leucoplast. Chloroplast is having chlorophyll pigment, so this is green plastid. Chromoplast is having colored pigment, so this is a colored plastid, providing color to parts of the plants. And leucoplast, so that is not having any pigment, so it is colorless or the white, and it is mainly found in the roots. So chloroplast is mainly present in leaf or green part of the plant. Chromoplast, these are found in the colored part, for example the petals of the flower, or in the carrot also you have seen the color is orange. And the leucoplast, it is found in roots. So the chloroplast, it is helping in the process of photosynthesis. Chromoplast, it is providing color, so that the insect they get attracted to beautiful color and they will sit on flowers and help in the process of pollination. And the leucoplast, so it is helping in the storage of either carbohydrate or the protein or the fat. Okay. Now myeloplast, so that is a type of the plastid which can store starch. In some algae you can find out there is Floridian starch is there. So that is called a myeloplast. There is stored starch is there. In some other you can find out there is the storage of the oil or the fat and that kind of the plastid, so that is called elaioplast. And when there is storage of the protein, then that is called alveoloplast. Now we will discuss about structure of chloroplast. Chloroplast, so that is only found in the green part of the plants, and mainly in the leaf you can see the chloroplast they are present. Either the number is 1 or the number is many. Like for example in the mesophyll of the leaf, in one single cell you can find out there are many chloroplasts they are present. So the chloroplast is also having a double membrane, the outer membrane and the inner membrane. There is space in between the outer and the inner membrane. And the inner part, so that is called stroma. In the stroma you can find out there are many thylakoids. Thylakoid, these are all the disc-like structure and they are placed one above the other. Like for example, suppose you take 10 coins and you put the 10 coins one above the other, then it can make a pile. So that pi-like structure, so that is called grana. And one single unit is called thylakoid. So thylakoid is having chlorophyll pigments, and these chlorophyll pigments, these are absorbing the solar energy, and solar energy is converted into chemical energy, and it is produced in the form of the ATP in the process known as photophosphorylations. And also you can see the grana, they are also connected by a tube-like structure which are called lamella. And the chloroplast, that is also an autonomous unit. As I have told, the mitochondria which is having its own DNA and the ribosome, so that is an autonomous unit which is an independent unit, and it can multiply without taking the help of the main DNA. Similarly, here in the stroma also there is DNA molecule, so that is also present, and the ribosome is also present. So this is also an autonomous unit, and it can also work independently.